Well, good morning. I came out last night and I just couldn't really, I don't know, I just wanted to be out. So I came out last night, put together this really kind of squat lean-to just because I wanted to try to keep as much heat in here as I possibly could. I've got my water bottles. I got both of them in here with me. And I'm wearing some merino wool, and underneath all this I stayed fairly warm. I got a wool hat on. I did this, I took my snug pack tarp here, the Stasha tarp, and I filled it with needles, pine needles, and you know, it didn't do too bad, really. I will tell you one thing, it is exhausting to fill this sucker up because I didn't even go anywhere near where I probably should have. But I didn't really get cold, but I've got my, it's like snugged right up against my body. I've got my Snug Pack thermal on also. And this sucker, it's like putting a giant sock on your body. It is super warm, super comfortable. The only thing that got cold last night was my nose. Temperatures didn't drop too low last night, only to about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's not too bad. Only problem I really had with my little shelter was, I'll show you over here, my tarp started to sag just a little bit. Probably because I threw it up fairly quick, so I just took a stick, stuck it up in the back, and I took the case or the pouch off of my Thermalon, and I just wrapped it around the top, pulled the cinch tight. Did pretty good, kept it off my face. It started hitting my face in the middle of the night, and I thought I had it tight enough, but it just started to get a little bit of sag. I did this all in cover of darkness, just with my headlamp on, so it was a good night. I don't know how cold it is right now. It's not too bad. My hands are a little chilly, but can't see my breath. You know, there's still frost all over everything, but I don't know, we'll see. Let's get some coffee though right now. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Well, here is my setup that I'm using, and you know, it's really simple today. I've got my heavy cover hanging over here, and I had some stuff down there so I could get to it. I keep my tarp in there, so I hung that all up so I could get to it. This is my Ascend tarp that my wife got me a few years ago. I really like these straps on the outside of it. You know, this is a footprint. I use it as a tarp. See how I did my setup here. I do keep a couple tent stakes in my G2 roll there. So yeah, let's go over here to the other side. I've got some heat. I didn't put in any fancy schmancy bottle, just kept it in the container. And really want to show you guys here is how I did this. This is the Snug Pack Stasha. As you can tell, I just stuffed it. It's got these really nice snaps on it here. I snapped them up. Actually, I snapped it up first, and I tried stuffing it, and it was just, honestly, it was very time consuming. So then what I did is I opened it up. I just kept grabbing a bunch of needles, threw them all on top of it, and then I rolled it up and snapped it up, and it did really well. I slept good. I didn't really get a cold butt at all. Obviously, I think a lot of it's to do with I'm sleeping on needles. I have a bunch of needles underneath me, but you know what? It did a good job. I wasn't using an overly warm sleeping bag. That sleeping bag's rated to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's why I use that Thermalon. I just wanted to try that bag on a colder night just to see really kind of how well that Thermalon performed, and wearing merino wool underneath my clothes helped. I did sleep in my clothing, which usually in a colder weather environment, that's really not necessarily the greatest thing to do. But when I got to camp, I was wearing my bibs that I have on right now. I didn't go very far. I just came up this huge embankment. I'm up in the hills here, so, but I didn't really push myself. I didn't really have a major sweat going on. I don't even think my head was damp when I got here. I took my time. I enjoyed myself. Kind of just put my little shelter together and tucked in for the night. Really kind of it. Yeah, I watched a bush talk. I think it was 13, where they kind of talked about going outside of your comfort zone and trying different things. Normally I would bring a sleeping pad with me, and so I wanted to try this snug pack. I had actually said before that you could use the snug pack for this option, but I have never used it in a colder weather, in the colder weather. So it did really well. I was impressed. So yeah, let's get some coffee on because I'm thirsty, and then we're gonna do some cooking. I'm gonna clean the camp up, and I think we're gonna move before I start doing some cooking, just because I want to. Coffee first, though. Yeah. Got my little TI kit in here. This is the it's MY, capital M, capital Y, titanium alcohol stove stand. I think it just says titanium stove stand is what it is. But see how she goes. I'm gonna assume that it goes down in that direction, just like the Evernail. I'm gonna have to make this ground a little flatter here, I think. It's frozen. There we go, there's a good flat spot. Flattish, I guess. Okay, so this is also the generic Evernew style titanium burner. This is also from MY. I'll grab my alcohol over here. Now there's definitely more than a 1-inch sweet spot right here between this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it like this first, and if it doesn't really seem to be working by looking at the flame, I'm gonna keep the screen on. Well, I'm probably gonna have to take this off because I'm gonna use my my canteen cup. I don't know, testing stuff out, you know. That's how we figure out what works. I brought 2 canteens with me, and the other canteen that I have, it froze. So I'm thinking that this might be a little too high. Yeah, that's gonna be too high. Never fear. We're just gonna get a little creative here. Since I can't fit this down in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this out of there, open it up like this. I'm going to use here. Like that. Like that. Drop this on there. There. Not perfect, but you know what? It's how you test gear out. Bad thing about doing this versus doing it at nighttime is nighttime I get to see the flame. I'm listening to the flame right now, so I can't even tell you if it's even fully blossomed yet. Well, you can definitely hear the stove working. I am at a slight angle, so the alcohol in the stove is not perfect. So I think that the stove is actually doing really well. I can see, you might not be able to on camera, but I can definitely see both burners doing great. So, and yeah, since I couldn't get the canteen inside of the stand, I'm just using it as a makeshift windscreen. But I think she's doing okay. It'll get the coffee hot. Alright, that's about where I want it. I don't want it boiling. Not for this, because I want to drink it. So what I'm going to have some of this Via Instant White Chocolate Mocha from Starbucks. It's looks pretty good. So we'll see. Probably have too much water in here, but I just thought about something. How am I going to get my stove to turn off? This isn't like the Trangia. Ooh, I got an idea. I know what I'll do. This little a little makeshift windscreen actually did a really good job. It's fairly warm. I got this. I got my bowl. Perfect. This is some good smelling stuff, no doubt. Here we go. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's good stuff. So, I was gonna move to where I was on a little bit flatter ground, because this definitely has quite the incline to it, but you know what? Not every situation's always perfect, and you don't always get perfectly flat ground. So I'm just gonna do with what I got right here. I'm gonna cook here, and yeah, should be a good time. Ooh, my stomach's growling. I'm gonna make some blueberry muffin bread. I got my zebra billy pot right here. And some blueberries. I don't even know if I'm in the camera. Got some blueberries. And now I got some blueberries, I got the mix, I've got some oatmeal, I've got some ramen, more mix, I got the hiccups. Actually, this isn't mixed, this is boil and bag rice. That's what that is. This is a mix. This is a mix. And this is coffee and tea and sweetener in case My older boys are with me because they like sweetener in their stuff. This little zebra pot, man, I tell you what, it's handy. Now the cool thing is I got this case from I got it from Firebox. I'm pretty sure that it came from Perry Peacock over at Wilderness Innovations, but I got it from Steve over at Firebox. What I like most about this is when we're out in the woods and we're doing stuff, you know, we're cooking, we're doing whatever. If you need to use the case or whatever's in the case and you use your vessel to hold stuff, you can take the pouch, put it all in there. You know, it seems silly, but now I have my cook pot. I have everything that I used my cook pot to, you know, I don't want to pack empty space. Now everything's in my little bag. So, yep. I'm gonna gather some wood, which is like laying all around me. I mean, literally all around me. And get cooking. I might have a bit of a problem here, folks. I don't think so. It'll just be a little offset. I don't know how, but it's not the first time that I've done that. Once it fell out of the case in the bag. No, it did not. One of my fire sticks has gone missing. Probably in my shop when I was fooling around with my stoves. So, what to use? I might just have to watch it, and I don't know. I might be alright with just 3. I'm just gonna try 3. Should be fine. How bushcraft is that? That's right. I'm trying to do this carefully while my stove burns down. I'm making a mess. I should have brought a big old bag to mix it all in, but I just, you know what? I didn't. I thought I had one but I didn't. It's alright. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but I've got time. Alright, well, I just had to use my Eka knife to to open up the can. I left my it's kind of funny. I left my Leatherman and I left my Swiss Army knife. So there's that sticky mess right there. And here are the blueberries. That's it. All of that can for that little bit. Oh, there's some in there. That's it, huh? All right. Mix that up now. Boy, I hope you like blueberries, because if you don't, this is going to look absolutely horrific. Here's my pan. I'm going to be cooking it. I already put some oil in it. Alright, and there's the bread mix. It's not even beautiful considering I work in a bakery. This is horrible. Bread's in there. Put this bad boy on here. Like that. Alright, well there is everything I just dumped out. Alright, well here's everything I just dumped out of my snug pack. Stasha did pretty good, you know. I think it did pretty well. There was a lot of bedding to put in here, so now I'm just gonna pull it up and put it back away. This is where I normally keep the stash at, right here. So I'll just take it. I don't try to fold it too aggressively, just because this whole system right here is going to roll up, and then it just goes in there. And then I put my Baco Laplander in there with it. That's it. Pretty nice. I'm just cooking it on some low heat here, letting those flames lick the bottom of that pot just a little bit. On the other side of the hill over here, there's some guys doing some forestry work, so hopefully they don't come over here and bug me too much. So this is really good. I'm going to put this in my Dragonfire tinder, little tin that I have, and we'll go from there. But let's see what we got here. I accidentally just dropped my spoon and stepped on it. That's lovely. Ooh, look at the heat come out. Uh-oh. It might actually be done okay. Let's see. Kind of stuck to the side over here just a hair. Let me stop here. Let me change the angle of the camera so you get a better view. All right, we'll continue again. Now that I have it this far, my gloves are over there. So that's nice. Now, it's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty, that's for sure. Oh well, let's take one of these needles here and well, they came out clean. Well, let's see how bad she is. It's hot. I'm gonna let it cool down before we put it on the plate here, so I'll be back in just a few. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes or so, so let's see how this is. It's still warm. Well, she looks good. Look at that. Not bad. I did have a little seepage on the outside, but she looks good. Let's break her open here. Go right here where it might be the bad spot. Okay. Look at that. It's done perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, move some of my stuff here. I got all my cooking stuff around me. Now, when I had done this, I very first put this coal rack up on top, but the wood that I'm using, I was using very, very small slivers of wood like this, just kind of what's around me. There's a couple reasons why I did this. One is I just wanted to see if I would be able to bake by just taking my stuff, not having to be like overly prepared, and still pull a baking dish per se out. And the other reason is because I got out late last night, you know, and I wanted to bake. I had this stuff already in my zebra pot, and you know, so I didn't have to necessarily have the coals on top, but I checked the bread midway through, and the top was still really wet. So I did put in. I ended up using my. I ended up cutting some of these up here, putting them in the bottom so they're coals, and I put them up on top, and I think that really helped even everything out. I didn't use anything on the bottom for a thermal mass, but I did maintain it, and I did watch my heat pretty well until I went over here and started getting fat wood. But if I would have had a thermal mass on the bottom here, just some stones in the bottom here to help take away from the scorching heat on the bottom of the pan and allow it to heat evenly throughout the whole little baking pot slash oven, and I would have had better coals on the top, I think that it would have been quicker. This was about 45 minutes to do this, but it's still early enough that it's fine. I mean, I think it's only about 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, anyway, making it was kind of a sloppy mess because, you know, I just used what I had on me here, but it worked, and it was fun. So there's only one thing left to do. So grab a big old chunk of this right here and do the first bite rule. The first bite rule, some people may wonder what the heck that is, so I'm going to tell you. Me and Steve Cruson, we're the Outdoor Adventure Junkie. He's over on Instagram now. He's not really so much on YouTube. And my buddy K-Dog Crazy, we got this thing, and we've kind of passed it on through other channels. Jason Koopzik will do it from the Wood Life. Bob 808 and I will do it sometimes. Jeremy Woodward will do it. Jeremy and Stephanie Outdoors, you know. It's just what we do. You spend all the time out in the woods cooking. Let's just show off your first bite. So here's the first bite. That's really good. We better just show a second bite too. Oh man. Well, what I ended up putting my my canteen next to my stove. My lips are cold. I ended up putting my canteen next to my stove over here to keep what was left of my coffee nice and warm. So I've been up, you know, for about hour and 20 minutes or so, something like that. I was able to bake an amazing breakfast here. Have some good coffee, and here's the inside of my pot. Got a little bit of seepage in there, a little bit of spillage, nothing major, and I only have 3 fire sticks. I'm gonna have to see if I got the other ones at home. I must have when I was doing my stove talk. So yeah, it's been kind of cool. It's still early enough, and I'm gonna be full that I'm gonna get out of here. And I know these woods well, and unfortunately they're clearing out a lot of the woods, and I'm not sure why they're doing that. But growing up around here, these used to be so thick. When I was in high school, my friends and I would come here, and we'd come up along this ridge up here, and I'll show you the ridge. We used to come up along here, and where those trees are over there, there used to be more. And we brought a picnic table up in there, and we may or may not have drank a few beers up in there as well. But yeah, and unfortunately there's not much left over there anymore. So it kind of starts to stink a little bit, you know, when you look back at the area that you basically traveled and wandered through all throughout your teenage years, and now it's almost gone. I don't get it. Now, I bring my kids out here, you know, from time to time, but it just seems like even I don't know, it just seems like more and more the woods are getting thinner and got to find new areas. I hear them clearing more trees out over there on the other side of me, so it's kind of, I don't know what their end game is for this, but it's, for people like me, it really just kind of sucks. But yeah, you know, I'm done rambling. Time to eat. So you guys notice that my dish that comes in my zebra pot, well, it's dirty, but it's kind of cut on the edges. The reasoning behind this was when I very first did my very first dry bake video, I was kind of trying it out to see if I could even get it to work. And I trimmed the edges down so I didn't need to use this. Steve Despain has since like perfected the dry baking ordeal, but when I very first did it, we were all a little green behind the ears on it, so I used this to stick into my pot as my baking dish. I did a upside down cheeseburger. Yeah, that's, I'll put the video in the description. That way, if you guys haven't seen the very first one that I did, you can go check that out. But the term dry baking is not like your food is super dry and nasty. It's dry meaning there's no moisture in there. You know, you're basically, you're in a cavity, okay, baking. There's fire. It's dry. You're not using water. You're not boiling it or broiling it. Some people will bake with they'll put water in the bottom of a cup and they'll drop something down inside of there, and they'll use the steam and everything else to bake. So dry baking doesn't leave your food dry. In fact, if you look at this, this is very moist. Okay, it's very good. But I don't mean dry baking by dry. I probably don't need to explain that, but I'm not going to be a complete pig. I'm not going to eat all this. I'm going to eat half of it, and I'm going to take the rest home to my kids. This was the Duncan Hines Morning Delight blueberry. There's a topping that goes on it. I didn't use the topping. I would have had no way to use it because this actually got too big. I should have used less dough, but anyway. I'm chit-chatting.